Good evening, students. Today I am going to discuss about bearing capacity of shallow foundations. It is not only important for GATE examination and also for academic purpose. It is very important for civil engineers. So before construction of a building, we need to find out the bearing capacity of the soil. So based on the bearing capacity of the soil, we need to design the columns and the beams and the slabs. So that's why it is very important factor in civil construction field. So let me explain the first the bearing capacity of soil. So generally, the bearing capacity of soil is defined as the maximum pressure or load. The maximum pressure or load carried by the soil without failure is known as bearing capacity of the soil. With a maximum capacity of 100 tons per meter square, then it is called as maximum load carrying or maximum bearing capacity of the soil. So more than 100 tons, even 1 gram also it cannot take. So that in that way we can imagine. Sir. So maximum means it is the ultimate. So more than that it cannot be here. So the maximum pressure carried by the soil without failure is known as bearing capacity of the soil. But in the engineering point of view, the bearing capacity is known as ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. We have so many terms in bearing capacity of the soil, but there is a minor difference between all these terms. So each and every term is very important. That's why please concentrate on this. So ultimate bearing capacity of the soil, ultimate. So it is defined as the maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure is known as ultimate bearing capacity of soil. So we cannot say simply as it is a failure. The failure is known as a shear failure. That means there should not be any lateral displacement of the building or any tilting of the building. That is because if the building is tilted or it may move in lateral direction, it is called as shear failure. So when building is constructed over the site, what will happen? There is a lateral spread of the soil. So there is a lateral horizontal movement of the soil. So this horizontal movement of the soil is known as a shear stress, but the soil has some internal capacity in the form of cohesion and friction. This internal strength will oppose the external shear stress. If the external shear stress is less than internal shear strength, then the building is safe. So ultimate bearing capacity of soil is the maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure is known as ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. The gross ultimate bearing capacity of soil. So the term is gross ultimate. Here gross means the maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure, including self-weight of the soil above the foundation. So above the foundation, self-weight of the foundation and the soil weight of the soil above the foundation. These two we need to calculate. So we need to estimate the self-weight of the soil and the self-weight of the foundation. These two are added to the ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. That's why it is called as including self-weight of the foundation and the self-weight of the soil above the foundation. So the maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure, including self-weight of the soil above the foundation is known as gross ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. So self pressure due to so on soil the following pressure will come. Dead weight of the column above the footing, weight of the earth fill above the footing, self weight of the footing. If you see the figure, so load from superstructure will come onto the soil. That is known as dead weight of the column above the footing. Next, weight of the soil above the foundation. Weight of the soil above the foundation also comes onto the soil. Next one is self weight of the footing. Self weight of the footing also comes onto the soil. So the pressure due to self weight of the soil above the footing equal to, so we know that density equal to weight by volume. Here weight is known as load. So here load equal to volume into density. Pressure equal to load by area. Load equal to volume into density by area. So here volume means area into height. Volume means volume into area into height. So area cancel, we will get the gamma into df. P equal to pressure. Pressure is due to self-weight of soil is gamma into df. So it is assumed that density of soil and concrete both are equal. density of the soil and the concrete, almost all both are equal. That's why we will take self weight of the soil above the foundation without naming that self weight of the foundation and not now we should not separate self weight of the foundation, self weight of the soil, because the density of soil and density of concrete, we will assume that both are same. That's why we will say in one sentence self weight of the soil above the foundation. Net ultimate bearing capacity. The maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure, excluding self weight of the soil above the foundation. We should exclude the self weight of the soil above the foundation. So ultimate bearing capacity means the maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure. So gross ultimate means the maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure, including self weight of soil above the foundation. Net ultimate bearing capacity means the maximum pressure carried by the soil without shear failure, excluding self weight of the soil above the foundation. So net ultimate bearing capacity equal to, we can say that gross ultimate bearing capacity minus overburden pressure, excluding. So you are saying that excluding. That's why we need to subtract the self weight of the soil from the gross ultimate bearing capacity. So net safe bearing capacity of soil. Here the new term is safe. Safe means if the capacity of the soil is 100 tons per meter square, so we should not place exact 100 tons. We need to take some margin of safety. So if you place 75 tons per meter square, so it is safe. So because the maximum capacity is 100 tons per meter square, we are placing 75. So the soil will comfortably take the 75 tons per meter square. That's why it is called as safe. Safe. Safe means we need to take some margin of safety. You cannot put exactly the ultimate load on the soil. So the maximum safe pressure carried by the soil without shear failure, excluding self weight of the soil above the footing, is known as net safe bearing capacity of the soil. So it is obtained by dividing the net ultimate bearing capacity with a suitable factor of safety. So the factor of safety ranges from 2 to 4. So net safe bearing capacity equal to net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety. Net ultimate bearing capacity equal to ultimate bearing capacity minus self weight of the soil above the footing divided by factor of safety. So gross safe bearing capacity. Gross means we need to add self weight of the soil above the foundation. Net means we need to exclude self weight of the soil above the foundation. Here it is termed as a gross safe bearing capacity of the soil. Gross and safe. That means safe means divide the load by factor of safety. Gross means add self weight of the soil above the foundation. So the maximum safe carried by the soil, the maximum safe pressure carried by the soil safely without shear failure, including self weight of the soil above the footing, it is known as gross safe bearing capacity. The maximum safe pressure carried by the soil safely without shear failure. In every term, we need to say it is a shear failure. So the maximum safe pressure carried by the soil safely without shear failure, including self weight of the soil above the footing, is known as gross safe bearing capacity of the soil. So gross safe bearing capacity equal to net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety, because it is a safe. Net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety plus gamma into DO. So plus including self weight of the soil above the foundation, because it is a grass. Next, net safe settlement pressure. So till now I am saying that it is a shear failure, but here we need to consider the only settlement, not shear. Net safe settlement pressure. Net means excluding self weight of the soil above the foundation. So the net pressure carried by the soil, excluding self weight without undergoing excessive settlement. Excessive settlement. Suppose if you apply a load on the soil, what will happen? There will be settlement. There will be settlement. So we cannot avoid the settlement, but the settlement will be within permissible limits. It should not exceed the IS code permissible limits. The load applied on the soil should be in such a way that the settlement should be within permissible limits. Here net means excluding self-weight of the soil. We need to exclude the self-weight of the soil above the foundation. So the net pressure carried by the soil, excluding self-weight without undergoing excessive settlement, is known as net save settlement pressure. So generally, allowable settlement ranges from 25 to 40 mm. Next, net allowable bearing capacity. Net allowable bearing capacity. This is the very important term. So the bearing capacity, which is considered in design of foundation, is net allowable bearing capacity. So while designing the foundation, we should consider two factors. The first one is the foundation should not fail in shear. The foundation should not undergo excessive settlement. So that's why net allowable bearing capacity is introduced. So the net pressure that can be applied safely on footing so that the settlement will be within safe limits, and also foundation should not fail in shear. So such type of pressure is known as net allowable bearing capacity of the soil. Suppose if you find out the bearing capacity by considering the shear, let us imagine net save bearing capacity equal to 10 kN per meter square. Similarly, by considering the excessive settlement, net self settlement pressure equal to 15 kN per meter square. So we got two safe bearing capacities here. One is 10 kN per meter square, that is in shear, and 15 kN per meter square, that is in settlement. So we need to choose the smaller one. That means 10 kilonewton per meter square. That means if you consider 10 kilonewton per meter square, the foundation will save in shear as well as in settlements. So net allowable bearing capacity means the maximum load that can be carried safely without shear failure, and also not undergoing excessive settlement. Such type of pressure is known as net allowable bearing capacity. We have so many terms, but net allowable bearing capacity is only the considered in design of foundations. So for obtaining net allowable bearing capacity, we need to calculate the bearing capacity by considering the shear. We need to calculate the bearing capacity by considering the settlements, and among these two, which one is the least, that we need to adapt in design of foundations. But Terzak is bearing capacity theory. So the formulas given by is Terzak is known as father of soil mechanics. He introduced many of geotechnical concepts. Here also he has given some equations to estimate the bearing capacity of the soil. So before deriving the equations, he assumed the following assumptions, which are very important for gate point of view. So the soil is homogeneous and isotropic. Homogeneous means similar properties at all points. Isotropic means identical properties in different directions at a given point. So the base of the footing is rough. He assumed that the base of the footing is rough. The footing is laid at shallow depth. That means he assumed that depth of the foundation is less than or equal to width of the foundation. He assumed that the footing is shallow. The footing is long or continuous. He assumed that the footing is long or continuous. That means L by B ratio is infinite. Next, the shear resistance above the soil, above the base is neglected. So he doesn't consider the shear resistance of the soil above the base of the footing. So even above the base of the footing, there will be some shear resistance of the soil, but that shear resistance is not considered by Terzaghi. So very important assumption. That's why it has underlined. The shear resistance of the soil above the base is neglected. Next, the shear strength of the soil is governed by Moore-Coulomb equation. So Moore-Coulomb equation is considered. Terzaghi consider the Moore-Coulomb equation in estimating the shear strength of the soil. So the problem is essentially two-dimensional. So generally in field it is three-dimensional, but he considered in order to simplify the equations, he considered the problem as two-dimensional. So the problem is essentially two-dimensional. So we have in space we have x, y, z coordinates, but he neglected one coordinate. So here one more important assumption is the failure surface do not extend above the base of the foundation. Hence Terzaghi's equation applied only for shallow foundations. So you can see the image. So at the base of the footing, I have drawn one vertical line. On left hand side, Terzaghi's failure surface is there, and right hand side, Meyerhof failure surfaces are there. So you can see the base of the foundation. In the case of Terzaghi, the failure surface extends only up to the foundation level. So above the foundation, the failure surface does not extend it. But Meyerhof considered that the failure surface is extended up to the ground surface. That is the difference between Meyerhof and Terzaghi's. So Terzaghi assumed that the failure surface do not extend above the base of the foundation. Hence, the Terzaghi's equation is applied only for shallow foundations. But Mayer have considered that the failure surface extends up to the ground surface. Hence, Meyerhof equation can be applied for deep foundations. So, Meyerhof equation applied for deep foundations as well as shallow foundations. But Terzaghi's equation is applied only for shallow foundations. So Terzaghi bearing capacity equations for C-pi soils. So here continuous foundation footing or stiff footing. So it is just like a wall. The foundation below the wall, it is continuous. So below the wall, the foundation is continuous. That's why we need to consider only 1 meter length. It is also called as stiff footing. So ultimate bearing capacity. So for gate point of view, you don't need any derivations. That's why directly I'm explaining the formula here. So the ultimate bearing capacity of soil is given by Terzaghi's CNC plus gamma into DF into NQ plus 0.5 gamma into B into N gamma. So in this formula, Q is known as ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. C is known as cohesion in kilometer per meter square, tons per meter square. Next, gamma equal to unit weight of the soil or density of the soil. DF is known as depth of the foundations in meter. B equal to width of the foundation. So continuous footing of width 1 meter or sorry continuous foundation width B length is assumed as 1 meter, but length is not considered in the equation. So B is known as width of the continuous foundation. Here NC, NQ, N gamma are known as Terzaghi's bearing capacity factors. NC, NQ, N gamma are known as Terzaghi's bearing capacity factors. These bearing capacity factors NC, NQ, N gamma depends on angle of internal friction phi value. So NC, NQ, N gamma may be given in the problem. So generally it is given in the problem. NC, NQ, N gamma may be given in the problem. If it is not given in the problem, so we need to uh, take these values by using tables and charts. So charts and tables are available in textbooks. So we need to take this from tables and charts NC, NQ, N gamma because pi value will be given in the problem. Based on this pi value, so for given pi value, we need to take NC, NQ, N gamma values from tables and charts. So based on pi value, NC, NQ, N gamma factors can be obtained from tables or charts. In examination also NC, NQ, N gamma are not given. So student should ask the invigilator for tables and charts. But in the case of gate point of view, compulsorily they will be given NC, NQ, N gamma values. For academic purpose, you need to ask the invigilators for JNT examinations. So if NC, NQ, N gamma values are not given, you need to ask the invigilator for charts and tables. So for square footing, so this is for continuous footing or stiff footing. So for square footing, so the formula will be like this: Q is equal to 1.2 CNC plus gamma DF into NQ plus 0.4 into gamma B into N gamma. Here 1.2 and zero point 0.4 are called as shape factors. So 1.2 and 0.4 are called as shape factors. It depends upon the type of the foundation. So for strip footing, the shear factor here is 1 and 0.5. So for square footing, the shear factors are 1.2 and 0.4. So 1.2 and 0.4 called as shear factors. The value depends upon shape of the foundation, whether it is a continuous or square or circular. So for circular footing, the ultimate bearing capacity equation equal to 1.2 CNC plus gamma dF into NQ plus 0.3 into gamma into B into N gamma. So here the shape factors are 1.2 and 0.3 for circular footing. So in world textbooks, for circular footing also, the shape factor is given as 1.3. So for cohesion component, that means the first term is here in bearing capacity equation, we have three factors. The first factor is cohesion factor. You can see that C and C. C is cohesion. The first term is known as cohesion term. Second term is known as surcharge term because depth of foundation is there. Gamma into DF is known as surcharge. So surcharge term. The third one is known as gamma B into N gamma, width term. The third one is known as width term. So in world textbooks for first term, the shape factor is 1.3 and width factor for width, the shape factor is 0.3. But in 1945, Terjagi took shape factors as 1.3 for circular foundation. Later, it was changed by Terjagi and Peck to 1.2. So it was changed to from 1.3 to 1.2. So both values are used in practice. So in voltage you can find for circular footing the formula is 1.3 CNC plus gamma DF into NQ plus 0.3 gamma B into N gamma. But in new textbooks you can see as 1.2 into CNC. So in 1945 it is introduced, the formula is introduced. Later it was modified by Terjag and Peck. The shape factor is modified from 1.3 to 1.2. So this is for rectangle footing. The formula for rectangle footing equal to ultimate bearing capacity equal to CNC into 1 plus 0.3 B by L. So in rectangle footing we have breadth and length. That's why shape factor equal to 1 plus 0.3 B by L. So the shape factor depends upon length of the foundation and the width of the foundation. The second one is no change. Surcharge term gamma DF into NQ plus 0.3 into 0.5 into gamma B into N gamma. Here the shape factor is 1 minus 0.2 into B by L. So 0.5 into 1 minus 0.2 B by L is known as shape factor. It depends upon B by L. So Q is known as ultimate bearing capacity. So after till now I have explained ultimate bearing capacity of various foundations. But in problem, they may be asked to calculate net ultimate or net save or gross save or net save bearing capacity. So Q is known as ultimate bearing capacity. Sometimes we need to calculate net ultimate bearing capacity. So net ultimate bearing capacity means ultimate bearing capacity minus self weight of the cell above the foundation, that is gamma into df. So sometimes we need to calculate net save bearing capacity. So net save bearing capacity equal to net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety. So sometimes you need to calculate the gross save bearing capacity. So gross save bearing capacity equal to net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety plus self weight of the foundation above the footing. So here I am saying that it is a gross. Gross means we need to add self weight of the foundation above the self weight of the soil above the foundation. Net means we need to exclude self weight of the soil above the foundation. So if we take a problem here, a stiff footing. It is a stiff footing width 2.5 meters, resting on a depth of 2 meters. The value of C dash and pi dash of the soils are 15 kN per meter square and 25 degrees. So pi value equal to 25 degrees. Assume it is a general shear failure. So I will explain in later the what do you mean by general shear failure and what do you mean by local shear failure and punching shear failure. So next the bearing capacity coefficients. So for pi equal to 25 degrees, the bearing capacity factors NC equal to 25.1, NQ equal to 12.7, and n gamma equal to 9.7. Find the grass. You need to calculate the grass safe bearing capacity of soil, not ultimate. We need to calculate the grass safe bearing capacity of soil. So take factor of safety equal to 3.0 and density of soil equal to 18 kilonewton per meter cube. So it is a stiff footing. That's why we need to calculate the. We need to take the stiff footing equation. QU equal to CNC plus gamma TF into NQ plus 0.5 into gamma B into N gamma. So generally these bearing capacity factors will not be given in the problem. We need to take from charts and tables. But here they are directly given NC, NQ, N gamma values. So for pi equal to 25 degrees, NC, NQ, N gamma values are given. So by substituting all these values in equation, we will get 1051.95 kilonewton per meter square. 1051.95 kilonewton per meter square. Next, net ultimate bearing capacity equal to ultimate bearing capacity minus gamma into df. So gamma equal to 18. Depth of the foundation equal to 2 meters. So we will get 1016 kilonewton per meter square. So next, net safe bearing capacity equal to net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety. So factor of safety is given as 3. So 1016 by 3 equal to 338.66 kilonewton per meter square. Next, graph safe bearing capacity equal to QNU by factor of safety plus gamma into DF. So 338.66 plus 18 into 2. Self-weight of the file above the foundation. So grass safe bearing capacity equal to 374.661 kilonewton per meter square. So in the above problem, assume it is a square footing of size 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters. Find grass bearing capacity using the same data. So in the above problem, data is same, the footing is different. The footing is square footing of size 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters. So we need to use the ultimate bearing capacity equation for square footing. 1.2 CNC plus gamma into DF into NQ plus 0.4 into gamma into B into N gamma. Here B equal to 2.5 meters. So remaining data is same. So after substituting in the equation, we will get QU equal to 1083.6 kilonewton per meter square, QNU equal to 1047.6 kilonewton per meter square, net safe bearing capacity equal to 349.2 kilonewton per meter square, and grass safe bearing capacity equal to 385.2 kilonewton per meter square. The third problem is, in above problem, assume it is a circular footing of diameter 2.5 meters. Find the grass safe capacity using the same data. So, same data, but the foundation is changed. The foundation is circular footing. That's why we need to take the bearing capacity equation for circular footing. So, for circular footing, ultimate bearing capacity is given by 1.2 into CNC plus gamma into DF into NQ plus 0.3 into gamma into N gamma. So after substituting the all the values in the equation, the ultimate bearing capacity equal to 1040 kilonewton per meter square. Net ultimate bearing capacity equal to 1041 kilonewton per meter square. Net safe bearing capacity equal to 334.66 kilonewton per meter square. Grass safe bearing capacity equal to 370.66 kilonewton per meter square. So you can see here why the structures are safe. So the maximum ultimate bearing capacity equal to 1040 kilonewton per meter square. That means the soil can take 1040 kilonewton per meter square. That means 10 tons per meter square. But we are taking that, we are assuming that, we are applying that only 334.66 kilonewton per meter square. So even though the soil can take, can bear 1040 kilonewton per meter square, first we are applying only 334.66 kilonewton per meter. That's why our structures are safe. So that is the factor of safety, importance of factor of safety. So if you doesn't take any factor of safety, if you apply directly 1040 kilonewton per meter square on the foundation, so the foundation in some severe situations, the foundation may fail. So that's why it is a practice to take factor of safety. That means even though the capacity of soil is 1040 kN per meter square, even though the capacity of soil is 1040 kN per meter square, we will apply only 334.66 kN per meter square. So after taking the factor of safety, that's why the structures will be safe. That is the importance of factor of safety. So for the same data, it is a rectangular foundation. So first strip footing, next the same data is used for uh, square footing, the same data is used for circular footing. Now the same data I am applying for rectangular foundation. The rectangular footing of size 5 meters by 2.5 meters. The ultimate bearing capacity is given by Q equal to 1 plus 0.2 B by L CNC plus gamma DF into NQ plus 1 minus 0.2 B by L into 0.5 into gamma B into N gamma. So breadth of the foundation is 2.5 meters, length of the foundation is 5 meters. By substituting all the values in the above equation, the ultimate bearing capacity equal to 1086.6 kilonewton per meter square. Net ultimate, that means without considering the self weight above the foundation, we will get 1050.61 kilonewton per meter square. Net safe after taking the effect of safety, the net safe bearing capacity equal to 420.24 kilonewton per meter square. Next, gross safe bearing capacity by considering the self weight of the cell above the foundation, we will get 456.24 kilonewton per meter square. So now I'm till now I have explained about sandy soils. C value equal to C pi soils. I have explained only about C pi soil. That means the soil has both the cohesion and angle of internal friction. So cohesion equal to 15 kilopascals and angle of internal friction equal to 25 degrees. Sometimes it is a cohesion less soil. If it is a cohesion less soil, first term will be 0. That means C value will be 0. So now I am taking that cohesion less soil. In cohesionless soils, the cohesion component will be 0. Hence, the first component of equation will not be taken into consideration. Suppose if you take the formula for strip footing, ultimate bearing capacity equal to CNC plus gamma DF into NQ plus 0.5 into gamma B into N gamma. It is a cohesionless soil. That means cohesion equal to 0. The first term will be 0. Ultimate bearing capacity equal to gamma DF into NQ plus 0.5 gamma B into N gamma. So in the case of cohesionless soil, the ultimate bearing capacity depends upon depth of the foundation and width of the foundation. As the depth of the foundation, width of the foundation increases, the ultimate bearing capacity also increases. So you can see in the equation, we have a depth component DF and also width component B. So as DF and B both are increases, the ultimate bearing capacity also increases. That's why if a bearing capacity is less, we need to increase the width of the foundation and also we need to increase the depth of the foundation. So if you take this, so I'm taking this problem to explain which foundation will give the maximum bearing capacity. Strip footing, but same data, which foundation? Strip footing or square footing or circular footing? So it is a cohesionless soil. First component of soil equal to 0. So what will be the ultimate bearing capacity of foundation on cohesionless soil having pi equal to 36 degrees, gamma equal to 18 kilonewton per meter cube under the following conditions. So A 1 meter width of strip footing, B 1 meter by 1 meter width of square footing, C 1 meter diameter circular footing. So assume depth of the footing equal to 1 meter. If you take the first one, strip footing, ultimate bearing capacity equal to gamma DF into NQ plus 0.5 into gamma B into N gamma. So here it is a cohesionless soil, first component equal to 0. So by applying by substituting all the values, the ultimate bearing capacity equal to 1233 kilonewton per meter square for strip footing. So please keep in mind, the ultimate bearing capacity for the given data here is For stiff footing, it is 1233 kN per meter square. So case 2, assume it is a 1 meter square footing. The formula is gamma df into nq plus 0.4 gamma b into n gamma. So the ultimate bearing capacity equal to 1155.6 kN per meter square. So case 3, I am assuming that it is a circular footing. So substituting the same data in circular footing equation, ultimate bearing capacity equal to gamma df into nq plus 0.3 into gamma b into n gamma. By substituting all the values in the equation, so the ultimate bearing capacity equal to 1078.2 kN per meter square. So for stiff footing, 1233 kN per meter square. For square footing, 1155.6 kN per meter square. For circular footing, 1078.2 kN per meter square. So in the case of cohesionless soil, that is in the case of sandy soils, or in the case of gravelly soils, or in the case of sand gravel mixers, so the ultimate bearing capacity for stiff footing is more when compared to square and circular footing. Stiff footing will give maximum bearing capacity, and circular footing will give least bearing capacity. Square footing will be in intermediate values. The bearing capacity given by square footing is less than circular footing and less than stiff footing and greater than circular foundation. So the objective question here is, so for a same data, which foundation gives maximum bearing capacity? So please remember stiff footing. But in the case of cohesionless soil. But in the case of cohesive soil, that means clay soils, it will be reverse. So please keep in mind, for sandy soils, stiff footing will give maximum bearing capacity when compared to square and circular foundation. So as a civil engineer, you keep in mind, if it is a sandy soil, you need to go for stiff footing. If you go for stiff footing, it will give maximum bearing capacity. If you adopt circular footing, it will give less bearing capacity. So while choosing the foundation, you should keep in mind this one. So bearing capacity of soil in cohesive soil. So cohesive soil means angle of internal friction equal to 0. So for clay soil, pi value equal to 0. So for pi value equal to 0, bearing capacity factors NC, NQ, N gamma is fixed. You don't need tables or you don't need charts. So by default, you will keep in mind. So nobody will give in the problem. So don't ask for tables and charts. As a civil engineer, as a geotechnical engineer, by default, you should know these values. NC for clay soil equal to y.7, NQ value equal to 1.0, N gamma value equal to 0. So we know that for C pi soil stiff footing, bearing capacity equation for stiff footing equal to CNC plus gamma DF into NQ plus 0.5 gamma B into N gamma. If it is cohesionless soil, first term equal to 0. If it is cohesive soil, third term equal to 0 because N gamma equal to 0, the third term will become 0. In second term, NQ value equal to 1.0. So QU is equal to CNC plus gamma into DF. So net ultimate bearing capacity equal to net ultimate. Net means you need to subtract the self-weight of the soil above the foundation. So CNC plus gamma DF minus gamma DF. So we will get net ultimate bearing capacity equal to CNC. So net ultimate bearing capacity for stiff footing. For stiff footing, NC value equals standard. So for stiff footing, the net ultimate bearing capacity is given by 5.7 into C. So for square footing, same third term equal to 0, you will get net ultimate bearing capacity equal to 6.84 into C. For circular footing also, the third term equal to 0. If after obtaining all the values, the net ultimate bearing capacity equal to same 6.84 into C. In the case of clay soil, so please keep in mind, in the case of clay soil, both circular and square footing will have the same bearing capacity. Same bearing capacity. So in clay soil, both circular and square footing will have same bearing capacity, 6.84 into C. So for rectangular footing, the equation you know that the equation, the third term also. So net ultimate bearing capacity equal to CNC into 1 plus 0.3 into B by L. So C value equals here NC value equal to 5.7. Net ultimate bearing capacity equal to 5.7 into C into 1 plus 0.3 into B by L. If you apply factor of safety, you can get the net safe bearing capacity, and by including the self-weighted soil above the foundation, you will get grass safe bearing capacity. So if you see the net ultimate bearing capacity of clay soils, stiff footing equal to 5.7 into C, square or circular foundation will give 6.84 into C. So the coefficient for square and circular footing is more, that is 6.84. For stiff footing it is 5.7. So we can conclude that in the case of cohesive soil, the net ultimate bearing capacity does not depend upon depth and width of the foundation. In the formula, only cohesion is there. No depth factor and no width factor. So, in the case of cohesive soil, the net ultimate bearing capacity does not depend upon depth and width of the foundation. Suppose if you take uh, ultimate bearing capacity for cohesionless soil, so it will depends upon depth of the foundation as well as width of the foundation. Next, the ultimate bearing capacity depends on depth of the footing, and so net ultimate does not depends upon width and depth. But in the case of clay soils, the ultimate bearing capacity depends upon cohesion and depth of the foundation. Cohesion and depth of the foundation, and it is independent of width of the foundation. But net ultimate depends upon only cohesion. So in the case of clay soil, net ultimate bearing capacity of square or circular footing is greater than stiff footing, because the cohesion component is more for square or circular footing and when compared to stiff footing. For square and circular footing, it is 6.84 into C. For stiff footing, it is 5.7. That's why in the case of clay soil, if you given choice, we can choose square or circular footing. In the case of clay sandy soils, if you given chance, we need to take a stiff footing, because stiff footing will give the more bearing capacity when compared to remaining two foundation in the case of sandy soils. But clay soils, circular or square footing will give the more bearing capacity when compared to stiff footing. So if you consider a problem, a stiff footing of width 2.5 meters is resting on a soil at a depth of 2 meters. Take value of cirrus and fidus of soil are 15 km per meter square and 0 degrees. That means angle of internal friction equal to 0. It means it is a clay soil. Assume it is a general shear failure. That means we have three types of failures. I will explain later. So in the current problem, assume it is as a general shear failure. So find the grass wave bearing capacity of the soil by taking factor of safety as 2.5 and gamma equal to 18 kN per meter square. So it is a stiff footing. So for stiff footing, the general equation is CNC plus gamma DF into NQ plus 0.5 into gamma B into N gamma. So by substituting all the data in the equation for clay soils, the grass wave bearing capacity equal to 70.2 kN per meter square. In the above problem, find grass wave bearing capacity of soil. Assume it is a circular footing. So earlier it is a stiff footing. Now it became circular footing of size 2.5 meters diameter. So by substituting all the values in the equation, that means bearing capacity equation of circular footing, the grass wave bearing capacity equal to 77.04 kilonewton per meter square. So for rectangular footing, so for it is a circular footing, but same it is same for square footing also, because for square circular footing the bearing capacity equation is same, that is 6.84 into C. So if you take a rectangular foundation, a rectangle footing of size 5 meters by 2.5 5 meters by 2.5 meters, remaining data is same. So by applying the all the data, by substituting all the data in equation, the grass wave bearing capacity equal to 62.22 kN per meter square. So first you need to find which type of foundation it is, then you need to apply the formula, corresponding formula. By substituting all the values, you will get the grass wave bearing capacity. So which bearing capacity asked in the problem that you need to identify. If it is ultimate bearing capacity, so stop at first point. QU. If it is net ultimate bearing capacity, so you need to find out the net ultimate bearing capacity by subtracting the self-weight cell above the foundation. If it is asked in the problem, it is a net self bearing capacity, you need to divide it net ultimate bearing capacity by factor of safety. If it is asked gross self bearing capacity, then you need to add self-weight cell above the foundation. So till now I have discussed about general shear failure. So in next year class, I'm going to discuss about what are different types of failures. We have general shear failure, local shear failure, and also punching shear failure. So in the case of shallow foundations, we need to consider only two failures. One is general shear failures, and the second one is local shear failure. So for till now, I have calculated general shear failure. For local shear failures, a slight modification is there that we need to know. In next class, I am going to discuss about these general shear failures, local shear failure, and punching shear failure, and how to calculate the bearing capacity for all these local shear failures. Thank you, students. Thank you very much for attending my class. In next class, I am going to discuss about local shear failure.